that guy I used to walk with, when he died, we had the conversation several times where what should he throw out over the years. This is before he realized he was sick. And I told him, I said, it's going to be a real pain in the ass for your brothers to clean the place out if you don't start throwing stuff out. Well, he never cleaned out. He died, and his brothers spent days, or weekends, I should say, coming over and cleaning stuff out. Now, what I have realized was there's certain things I still own that I have no use for. Now, what you see here in front of you, this is ninth grade, I think, drafting. All the drawings I did for ninth grade. I see 9, 10, and 11, or wait, I take it back, 10, 11, and 12th grade. I have all my original drawings. Some are architectural, some are, machine drawings. And believe it or not, that helped when I went in and did the booklets for the CNC. I created my own scaling and everything in Windows Paint because I didn't like the way AutoCAD looked. I could draw in AutoCAD. I had 3 years of drafting in school. Going to AutoCAD is a piece of cake. Okay? Yeah, all with the different types of templates. I still have all my old templates. I don't have my T-square. I finally threw that out. I threw my drawing board out, or I think I sold the drawing board. After a while, you just realize at 70 years old, I'm never going to need these drawings ever again. And then there's this. I walked in the park in Jersey. This is a Goobelline with the face. Your face comes out through the Goobelline. It's like a ski mask. That's just what this is. I have this. I have a set of pajamas just in case I go in the hospital. But I've been in the hospital and never used the pajamas. So I have this dresser that I open up, and I have drawers in there that are just loaded with CDs, backup CDs from my computer since 2000. Okay, and I have to go through those next. Okay, but here's a pair of earmuffs that I wore from 7th grade to 12th grade, walking in the cold in New Jersey. Okay, I hung on to these thinking, well, you never know, it might get really cold. So I'm going into stuff I never went into before, and I'm throwing it out. And I've been comparing notes with my friend Jim, and he's down in Florida, and he's trying to get his train collection that he sells. He buys and sells. He's trying to get that under control. Okay, and he says it's really heavy stuff. He has these big tubs of locomotives and cars, and he says the tubs have to be 70 pounds each. So I'm cheering him on. He calls me, and I said, well, I got this pretty good. I have this house down to where it would take 2 younger kids that have ambition to clean all my stuff out of this house in under 2 hours. Because I only have a few, I have this workbench, I have the fish tank, which might take a little longer, but most of my stuff, I don't have a lot of furniture. My living room has 2 end tables in it, that's it. My dining room, there's nothing in it. I have closets in the house that have nothing in it. And I'm going to total minimalization. If you don't use something in 30 years, you're not going to use it. Now, I don't even mention to anybody that I know how to do mechanical drawing, because a lot of people don't even know what it is, and everything's done on computers, but I know how to do it on computers also. Okay? So at 70 years old, I don't think anybody's going to care about that skill that I have. Okay? So I'm finally parting with these drawings, and it's funny. Every once in a while I bring them out and I look at the marks that I got on it, and the one teacher was a ball breaker. He would spot where I cheated a little bit. Some of my ellipses, I would hand draw, because the compasses that we had in the school were almost always broken. So I found a way to actually draw in my ellipses. I put in my construction lines, and then I take the compass and I put holes in the paper. So he couldn't figure out how I was doing it, but he says they're dotted ellipses. It's a circle that's dotted because it's hidden, and it's not a round circle. It's an ellipse, and I think it's called 3-point with the compass, you have to do three different circles to form the three different small circles to create a round circle or a ellipse circle. And we had templates. And for some reason, the teachers I had wouldn't let us use the templates. And then you find out that all the companies are using templates. And then they want you to know how to do the old method. And then the one teacher I got allowed you to use the template, but he made me do. He wanted me to do the house drawings, architectural drawings first, and then switch to mechanical. I had the house drawings the year before, and then when I was finishing up at the end of the year, he came over and he said he was sorry for making me go back and do all the drawings I had already done the year before. But I hung on to them. I don't know if you guys can understand that, why you would hang on to something. And I get a kick out of the people that can't leave a car alone. You know, they go visit someone and they see a car out in the woods, and then they drag it home to their property, and then they're standing there. Oh, this is a really good deal. I'm going to get this car working. And like I said, over their shoulder, you can see like 20 cars, and they're probably all got mice in them. And it's funny, but I can let stuff go. Okay, and I've hung on to these drawings just for, like, when I would go for a job, I would take a couple of the drawings with me, and then the guy would ask me, and I'd show him. I said, well, this is just in case part of the job is documentation, and I know how to do drafting. And they said, but they basically go by, when they contacted your high school, what courses you took. And then later on, I went solely into electronics, and I did do some documentation. And a lot of the drawings, you would just go to the copy machine and make a copy of something, bring it back, and then label it. And then you get the documentation done, and the boss would go make a master copy of that, and that'd get put in a filing cabinet. So there was really no drafting required. But I did take three years of mechanical drawing, and even after high school, I continued to do drawings of the projects I was working on. And then, like I said, I used Windows Paint, and I created my own scaling systems. I could open 6 drawings or more at one time under Windows Paint, and I'd go in and cut and a copy and paste into the drawing. And then when I was doing the CNC stuff, I spent hours in there in the drawing programs. You know, I didn't like the way the CAD looked. It looked very anemic. I like drawings and illustrations that look like the actual machine itself. So that's why I stuck with the Windows Paint. I had a few people make comments. They buy my plans, and then they say, well, you really should use AutoCAD. And I'm like, well, I'm waiting for you to build the machine, you know, because it was each page was step by step. It was a drawing for each part. So, you know, when AutoCAD, a lot of times, they don't do step by step. They give you some drawings and a master drawing, which you got to keep looking at it, trying to figure out how does that fit. I did it differently. Okay, I did it because I wanted the most amount of people that bought my plans to actually build the damn machine. Okay, I saw the other guy's stuff. People sent me copies of the other guy's drawings, and I'm like, holy crap, how does anybody get this done? Well, they don't. Okay, you sell a set of plans, the person sends you the money, they look at the plans and they stick it in a drawer. That's the real truth. Okay, and I had it up to 20% of the people that bought my plans actually got the machine halfway. 1% got the machine finished and running. And then half of 1% got the machine operating, and they made a part on it. So I knew just about what was really going on. And I would go in these different groups, and they'd start fights with me. And because I knew they were bullshit artists, okay? And you can buy the best servo system, but if you don't have a machine, what's the point? Like I said, the number one CNC machine was stepping motors with tape on the shafts. And you can see that on YouTube. There are some of those machines, CNC machines, where the guy buys expensive motors, expensive controller, expensive software, and all he's got for a machine is tape on the end of the motor. That's it. Okay, and that's the easy way. And I had a kid I grew up with when we had the little U-control airplanes. His parents would buy him one, and he immediately unbolt the engine or take the engine out of the airplane and bolt it to a piece of wood and start it up and play with the motor rather than the aircraft. So one day we were down flying some airplanes. We had the U-control, and he wouldn't do it. And then I found out he got dizzy. Just spinning around twice, he got real dizzy. And then I figured out if you walk around him a few times, he would almost get nauseous and throw up. It was just something wrong with maybe his inner ear or whatever. But I've seen motor spinners, and I gave it the name. It's all capital letters, motor spinners. When we were doing CNC machines and people were designing them, there were guys that ran out and bought the most expensive motors, expensive software, expensive drivers, and they would spin the motors. And that's as far as they would ever get. And then when they would start talking, they'd be bragging how expensive the servo systems they bought. They had no machine. And I started realizing that. I started having fights with people. But I now understand what people are all about. It's like the guys with the videos. He keeps bringing cars home. And they recommend this. I'm like, oh, I remember that guy. Yep, another car. He's bringing another car home. He's got a big bullshit story about how he's going to restore it. Obviously, he doesn't understand that if you get a Mustang that's been in the garage and it's got mice in it, you are not going to be able to rewire that car, okay? And you're not going to learn that kind of wiring and where the wires go and how to do those connectors. You're never going to learn that because you're going to be too busy bringing more cars home. I finally figured people out. Now, the generation coming up, they text all the time. And there's a few guys in that generation that care about electronics, but it's not enough to keep a lot of these companies going. And that's why you got a few Radio Shack stores still left. You got Jameco. You got there's different surplus stores. I can't think of the one that Menzo's. I can't think of a real expensive, not real expensive, the one parts store. But I've watched so many electronic stores close down. And they don't close down because they ran out of parts. They close down because nobody wants them. You know. And I'm also noticing a lot of the videos of people that I watch, they're not doing the big projects they used to do. They're not getting the views. And every once in a while, you'll see them. And even that guy, Scotty, who does the cars, rev up your engines. That guy, he'll even say the people want to be entertained. They don't want to be educated. He slips that in every once in a while. And I look at his views. He's still got a lot of followers. But you watch him fix a car, and you play make-believe. Okay? And he shows you the equipment you need. Okay. How many people watching that actually know how to do that? Okay, they play make-believe. And that's what I came to the conclusion with the CNC, that it cost me money to do all those machine designs, and I used my savings, my retirement money, and then I realized that people just steal stuff from you and ideas and put out free sets of plans. They redraw your drawings. It was horrible, absolutely horrible, you know. And then I do a bunch of YouTube videos. I wasn't looking to make any money, and I had people trolling me really bad. Now I see they're trolling this one couple on YouTube, and everybody's doing a video about how it's not right to troll those people. It's pure living for life. They were going to be off grid, and then he had an inexpensive solar system, and all of a sudden one of the sponsors showed up with a big system, and then he did a timber frame house, and that special timber framer guys show up. I watched it. I was following it. And I realized after a while, his original plans changed. And he was going off getting airplane lessons to fly an airplane. I think he bought an airplane. New trucks started showing up. But originally, it started out there was a woman and a guy, and they were off-grid, and they were going to survive off-grid, and it all changed because they started making money and sponsors. And then people started trolling them, and then the sponsorship started dropping because YouTube is changing, and then they closed it down. And there's still people talking about them because they just want to annoy the hell out of them. Now, I told you I had some trolls, and they got jealous of me. And I didn't know how to handle it because I knew just enough software to upload my video. I know just enough software to make a video. You got to dig deep in these different, and there's a learning curve. Just how to go in and block somebody out, how to mute them. See, after a while, I said, let me pull all my stuff down, and it was a big, oh, you took your stuff down. I hadn't copied it yet. Screw you. Go away. Who are you? Who are you? Right? I had people that email me on the side. Can you do this? Can you do? No, I'm not going to do it. I do this for my own pleasure. And this video is to try to get you to throw some of the stuff out that you got. And it's keepsakes. Oh man, keepsakes. And I've gotten to the point where I can throw stuff out. And it's really going to be hard for me to go in that drawer. It's a big drawer of backup CDs from 2000. And I went through that once before. And I went through and I put some of them in. And I was backing up twice a month on a CD. No one uses a CD anymore. Think about it. It just keeps moving forward. And I open that drawer and I look down at that. I'm going, man, that's all those CDs have work that I did on them. And there's projects on there that just didn't sell. But that work is still there. All those drawings are still there. Or I would get a machine totally finished. And then I'd find a better way to do it. And I would scrap that whole machine out. That whole month's worth of work was gone. Just because I went in the store and spotted something I never saw before. And that's what I was doing. And there were people that constantly would leave me nasty messages, but I kept going because that's how I was making my money. And then when the economy started collapsing, let's say 2008 it started, and I was getting orders every day. And then I don't know if Reagan died in there, and maybe the Olympics were in there, or something happened in there. But anytime something happened on television, I wouldn't get any orders. People would be watching the World Series. So if the World Series is on for 5 days, you don't get any orders for 5 days. Then you get orders from people after the World Series is over. You get orders from people, or the Super Bowl. You get orders from people that want it as soon as possible. They want you to email the drawings and everything to them so they can pass it around like they do with the porn. See, that's what I learned right away. Don't put anything digital. Hard copy everything. It makes it harder for them to copy it. Okay? And that's what I did, and it worked. And I'm done with it. Okay? And other people, oh, you should have put it in PDF form. Yeah, you do one copy, and then it's on peer-to-peer. One guy claimed my stuff was on peer-to-peer. He was just pissed. Boy, was he pissed. I wouldn't build something for him. So he got really mad at me. Now, I used to get people that would tell me, stop what you're working on. I want you to do some work for me. And then I'd give them minimum wage time. All right? Oh, you're crazy. I ain't paying that kind of money. I'm like, the minimum wage. Minimum wage. They didn't even know what minimum wage was. Think about that. People, oh, whatever it costs. I used to get that all the time from my relatives. Oh, don't worry about it. Whatever it costs. It's like $3. I ain't paying $3. Yeah. The one time I put a line cord or a dial cord on a radio for one of my uncles. And I had to buy a roll of dial cord. And it was $12. And he's like, but you don't have $12 worth of line cord on the radio. I said, but I had to go get that line cord. I had to know where to go to get the line cord, or the dial cord. He just looked at me. You're nuts. You're nuts. So he left. He paid $3 for the dial cord and for my time to put it on. And then he said something like to me, I'm helping you out. I'm giving you radios to practice on. I was in aerospace at a company. See, he didn't know what aerospace was. He didn't know about cockpit instruments for aircraft, F-14s. It's amazing, okay, when you deal with those kind of people. See, and then he was on me, how come you're always home? What do you mean I'm always home? You're home now. I said, well, that's because my mother told me you were coming over. Yeah, I'm staying home from having a good time with my friends to put a dial cord on a radio, and then it turned out it was for his friends. He was getting kickback from the guys at work for stuff I was repairing. And it all come down to the line cord, dial cord. And the one girl at work, she'd come into work, she says, I need like 1.5 foot of dial cord. She says, I'll pay you for it. I had forgot I told her the story. She says, I checked, you have to buy a whole roll. I said, yeah, you got to buy a whole roll of dial cord for a radio. And now it's what, $5 a foot? You buy it on eBay, $5 a foot. I bought it for one of the Zenith radios, whatever the hell it was. I had to buy $5 a foot for a dial cord, unless I wanted to buy a full roll for $45. I think that's it. Oh boy, that's it.